794 to 924. So, 3 days. What has happened since then? One, I know that on sort of I think, 13th, no, the 12th, I just want to make this quick update, that I know that the current, which I think is around about in the 1020, goes to 1030, so you get 10 more episodes, so that's going to happen on the 12th. That's in around about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. But in the meantime, I have like 924 to whatever is left. I just want to make that quick update because I know that's a thing, But anyway, so that means we have gone through all of Big Mom's arc. Even though Kaido is starting to seem like it's even better, and we're gonna get more Big Mom in that arc, I'm gonna hold on that for a minute. We just gotta see her come in. But I think her arc was the most interesting because you had people at all sides being at each other's throat, being like backstabbing and betrayal from every angle. I'm like, Jesus, who's not each other's allies? What the? And the one thing I love is you have the Ven Smokes, which is Sanji's family. You have the Ven Smokes, but the one thing which I find is hilarious is it just me, or does it seem like welcome to the Power Rangers, but if they were if they were all psychopaths? Prove me otherwise. Like, jeez, like legitimately. If I was in Sanji's position, I'm not joking, I would save Poison Pink. I'd be like, now peace. Bye. I'm sorry, I don't need to save any of you, you absolutely worst people of humanity. Bye. I'm taking the one person who is somewhat decent and then leaving the rest of you behind. But Sanji's a better person than me. I don't know if that's a better person thing or just spite. It could be spite. And I just love the whole... And one of the comments I read was this fight was much harder and much sadder than Usopp's and Luffy's fight, which I do agree. It gets a lot more like emotional, with Luffy essentially just doing nothing. I think it was just really good though with how it's staged and how you learn one for one thing. And the one thing... Oh, sorry, the thing cut out. I had to put my password in because I've been on TikTok for too long. The one thing I like is that you could have done like... Because they had a bait and twist. Spoilers, by the way. Which is, Pudding is not 100% who she says she is. But the one thing I love is... It's not like she's like, I'm manipulative and I just want money. It's like the one reason, like the one thing why she tries to act this way, and the one thing that's like, is like everyone's like looks in horror of her third eye. And it's like a big thing. And I like the one thing she gets from this entire situation, plus the kiss at Sanji. I don't know will or won't ever remember. I don't think ever will, which is sort of like sad. But the one thing that she gets is someone who looks at her, looks at the third eye that everyone considered monstrous, and considers it cute. And considered it like, oh yeah, that looks nice. You look cute with that. And then that just sort of breaks her, because the fact that like one thing that like everyone's like, oh, this is ugly, oh, you're horrible with this, is like, and yeah, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, the stereotypical thing with like women is like, there's one thing ugly in it. So, but that's the one thing which I think is interesting. It shows ideas of like why she acts this way. It's because like, oh, everyone's going to like laugh at me, so we might as well like pull one on them. And it's so interesting. And then you have not the small thing that is a somewhat filler arc that happens with like a battle system where you see sort of like the Empress back, which I don't know where this happens on the timeline. I am very confused, but it probably happens like before. I don't know, but it happens sometime. but you have that, but you have this sort of like all the leaders coming together and being like, yes, we're going to see each other, because then you can be like, oh, you're from this arc, flashback to this arc. Oh, you're from this arc, flashback to this arc. I'm going to be completely honest. Besides the intermediate bits, whereas like this person knows this and this person knows this, I kind of was like, okay. I was like, oh, you remember this arc? Because like, I've only, that was only like 2 weeks for me. I know why it's there, because like throughout all of this, it sort of builds up on the idea that like if you started watching it every single day, it probably was like years ago for like the people who actually watched it while it was airing. So having this sort of thing, sort of like, is sort of like a, you got that? You got that? Good. Actually, no, that's what the quote is. You got that? But I do like it interesting where you see some of the people who haven't seen each other, more specifically the princesses and the royal families that have been either saved or helped by Straw Hat Luffy, coming together. And I am going to mention this because I think this is really interesting, and one thing I didn't think was going to happen. So we did a little thing, also spoilers again, where like you have this person take away sort of like the mermaids, and it's like, yes, I'm a statuary, I have my very own mermaid, and then you have the mermaid from the flashback that I didn't thought would ever show their face in the actual series in the main timeline, who was saved by sort of like the queen, and it's like, no, you're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna allow you to do that. I'm like, do you know what? I still hate you because you were somewhat in the past, and maybe at this point, maybe a little bit, but I don't know. Most likely not. I don't know. But it's one of those things where it's like, you've become more decent person, and I thought that was very interesting. It's like, especially Jerry being like somewhat moral. Well, I'll never. And the other thing I thought, so yeah, and yeah, I just like the conversation between each one of the like leaders, and like sharing stories, because like that sounds like a thing that you do. Be like, oh yeah, you know this guy? Yeah, I know this guy. It's like, here's a story. Here's a story. And lastly, we're into the Kaido arc, and it is getting interesting. I know that I can only watch for the time being up to episode like 1020 something, and then the 12th, which most likely I won't catch up to that by that point. Maybe, I highly doubt it. On the 12th, it'll go to 39, I'm seeing online, but it's not 100%. But again, I just said that twice, but that's something that I would like to make aware. And when I hit that, I will just stop, because again, I know it's a controversial opinion, but I only watched up. I'm sorry. I feel like that's one of the things that's like everyone says, but it's the most controversial thing. It's like, I'm sub only or I'm dub only. Yeah, I'm dub only. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think it's interesting, fun, and yeah, I'm excited to watch this arc. Also, I do know Gen 5 exists. And I also remember the name of it is sort of, again, spoilers for something even I haven't watched, Sun God. I forgot the last name, but I know it's the Sun God. Which, that's going to be fun. I've seen part of the fight, not fully all of them. Like, I've seen him laugh, like the animation where he laughs sitting down. And then I've seen, like, stills of him, like, in his stomach and then using him as a jump rope. Which I think is like, what the fuck? But overall, I won't talk about that too much, because even though I would want to, I can't yet, because I haven't seen that yet. And I feel like I shouldn't mention it if I haven't seen it. So yeah. A lot. So, yeah. That's what happened in the last 3 days with me talking about the days. So yeah, that's what happened. So, I think this is just one of the most creative series I've ever actually seen. It's creative, insane, and it's madness. And yes, because it's mindful, I got up to 9 minutes, so I might as well just do a 10-minute one, so why not? Go watch One Piece if you haven't already. Why haven't you?